House Bill 5454 by Representative Filippi. Representative Filippi, would you like to tell us about your bill?
Certainly. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill requires police obtain a warrant prior to using an unmanned aerial aircraft, also known as a drone. And this is a question of values. Over the past 14 years, individual privacy, which has been a bedrock of the American experience, has been and is being undermined in the name of national security and criminal justice expediency. United States Senator Ron Wyden has stated that the American people would be absolutely stunned if they knew what kind of surveillance has been authorized by the President's secret Patriot Act interpretation. Moreover, the revelations by Edward Snowden concerning the NSA's mass collection of domestic electronic data is a significant cause for concern. History tells us that technology developed to fight our enemies abroad is eventually brought home. And this is what we see with the federal government's surveillance apparatus, and we see it with our local law enforcement's desire to acquire some of these technologies. And I just want to state that we have the utmost respect for our law enforcement, and we have that admiration precisely because they uphold our rights while doing an incredibly difficult job. Last month, we had a hearing on a bill to require police warrants before our present and past cell phone geolocation data is obtained by police. The Attorney General opposed this bill, in effect asserting that the government should be able to find out where you are and where you were without obtaining a warrant, because geolocation data is a business record held by a third party. And this is a scary proposition. As we deal with the issues of drones, it is crucial that we acknowledge the likelihood that they will soon become a standard law enforcement tool. If you told me 10 years ago that we would be fighting our wars from computer screens halfway around the world, I would not have imagined it. But yet, that's where we are today. And this technology is likely to come home and be used by local law enforcement. Indeed, the 2013 FAA Reauthorization Act opened up U.S. airspace to commercial and government use of drones. And the FAA estimates that there will be 30,000 drones in U.S. airspace by 2020, many of these belonging to government agencies. Critically, our United States Supreme Court has held that we do not have a reasonable expectation of privacy in the airspace above our homes, thus negating a warrant requirement prior to police may use a helicopter above your home, and that would likely be applied to police use of drones. In effect, the Supreme Court has put this issue before the legislatures to deal with, and deal with it we must. Recognizing this and getting in front of this issue, 9 states have already enacted laws requiring a warrant prior to police drone use. Oregon, Idaho, Utah, Texas, Illinois, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, and Florida require warrants prior to police use of drones with some limited exceptions. Now, while this bill does not provide any exemptions to the warrant requirement, it is intended as a start to this necessary conversation. And I'm happy to hear from the Attorney General's office and interested parties concerning what reasonable exceptions they need, such as exigent circumstances and large event monitoring. And I'm happy to work with all interested parties and the committee to craft a sub-A which is most satisfactory to all interested parties. This is a necessary conversation. It is a question of values we hold as Americans and hold dear as a society. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and I look forward to working with all parties to craft a sub-A that satisfies everyone. Thank you, sir.